Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to an up-to-date Season 13 Zed vs Cassiopeia guide on patch 13.17. I'm ilji, Zed 1 trick on EOS, and I peaked Challenger 1200 LP in Season 13. In this video we're going to be covering tips and tricks against Cassio regarding how to play efficiently. We'll also go into a breakdown of the frequently asked questions I get, for example what runes build you should go, and we'll talk about which one is better and why. Now before we begin, I do want you guys to know that I stream most nights on Twitch, link in the description if you're interested. For runes, I'd like to go first right because Cassios tend to go Rod of Ages and get health items early on. Zed is weak early levels with little to no kill pressure, so Electrocute and Conqueror are not as strong as they used to be. Even at level 6, a small mistake in an 1v1 all-in will allow her to run you down and kill you quickly. Later on, Cassios will also like to go Rylai's, Gargoyles and Zhonya's and other items which heavily reduce your 1v1 kill potential. This means that Conqueror is the worst option compared to First Strike, both early game and later on. For sub-runes, take Magical Footwear, Futures Market or Minion Dematerializer. Futures was nerfed this patch, so Minion Dematerializer was indirectly buffed. If you do take Dema, always use it on the cannon to push the wave quicker. I still prefer Futures, and take Cosmic Insight for the last rune in the tree. For secondary runes, I like to go Presence of Mind with Last Stand since it scales better than the other well-known and also viable option, Transcendence and Scorch. Both work fine, so take whatever your preference is. Take Adaptive MR for the most efficiency of damage and resistance in lane. For summoner spells, I take Teleport and Flash. I don't like Ignite in this matchup because it's difficult to kill Cassio early on with the current state of items and Zed. Teleport gives you a free recall early on in the lane, as well as more agency past minute 10, being able to teleport anywhere. This lines up well with your Hydra item spike, allowing you to shove waves before teleporting to gain more advantage and losing less tempo. Later on, teleport is effective to push sides, while still having access to objectives and teamfights, and gaining more gold and experience efficiently. Flash is good in this matchup because of her ability to run you down in general, most notably when you take your W or have no W. It's also useful to use Flash in a clutch way to dodge one of her spells and kill her. Never hit the wave the first few levels, or you risk Cassio freezing or zoning you hard. At level 1, play right outside her Q range until you see if she has E or Q. If she has E, you can space her to try and get her to E or to you only once, so minions re-aggro and the wave pushes to you faster. I misplay here in the gameplay. Playing like this is efficient if she started Q, but we clearly see that she started E. Dodging spells allowed me to thin the wave however, and she didn't get a big timer of crashing lots of minions. When Cassio hits level 2, be very respectful and play properly, dancing in and out of her Q range. If you do this right, if her Q lands, you'll be able to run away and she'll only be able to E you once during the duration of her poison. Use your Q to farm minions while being wary of her Q, spacing it. Do note that it's fine to give up CS early as long as you catch all of the experience. In all Zed vs Rage matchups, your goal for the first 3 waves is to deny the enemy from stacking all 3 waves, or thinning it out as they do so they don't have a longer timing to move and impact the game. Most champions in mid lane have 1 or 2 skills you want to dodge or have them waste before you commit to trades or all-ins. For Cassio it's her Q, although be careful because it has a low cooldown of around 3 seconds, so the timing to trade after she misses Q is very short. After level 3, be careful with how you use your W. If you are relatively safe on your side of the lane or close to your tower, you can space her Q range. If she isn't using Q, you may go for a quick WEQ into running away. Never take your Ws unless you're getting a gank or she will be low enough for you to kill quickly afterwards, since you will lose all-ins and extended trades. If Cassio has Ghost, avoid trading when the wave is on her side of the lane because she can run you down after you use W, even if you don't take the W. If Cassio misses Q and you dodge to the side or towards her, there's usually a window to do a WEQ trade. This depends on the wave state and Cassio's position relative to her minions. I'll go over 6 cases of this. If the wave pushes towards you and Cassio is not in her minions, WEQ and run away to farm the wave under your tower afterwards. If the wave is pushing towards you and Cassio is in her minions, don't poke her and instead wait for the wave to farm it under your tower. If the wave is pushing towards her and she is in her minions, WEQ both her and the minions to push and poke her at the same time. If the wave is pushing towards her and she isn't in her minions, don't poke her and instead use the timing to use Q, E and autos on the wave to shove it in, threatening with your W if she tries to hold the wave after. If the wave is even and she is in her minions, don't poke her and use the timing to last hit instead. If you poke her here, the wave will push towards her and she may freeze or zone you off. If the wave is even and she isn't in her minions, go for a WEQ poke into running away. Do note that these 6 situations don't take into account assistance from other players in the game on either side, since this makes explanations much more complicated. In general, it's much easier for junglers to gank Cassio than it is for them to gank Zed, so don't feel too rushed to take these short trades. as holding your W has a strong pressure on the enemy jungler and support and whether they can gank you. If both you and Cassio are healthy and level 6 or above, I recommend against ulting her and taking all-ins. Instead, continue taking short trades after dodging her Q while being careful of her W. If you do want to all-in, I recommend ulting when you have W up. Always click behind her when you ult instead of ulting her straight away, since most Cassios ult right as you come out of ult, so this will allow you to not get stunned. It's a good idea to keep distance between your ult shadow and the fight, so you have a way out, or you can dodge a Q of hers which looks like it will hit you. If she doesn't ult straight away, you can just auto-E her and watch for her ult animation or flash. This is why I recommend poking her down first, because Cassios always panic ult or flash when they have less HP. With enough focus, you can dodge her ult by either turning around, taking your ult shadow, or using WEQW really fast around her to kill her. Avoid using the WERQW combo on her because she can use her W to counter you. If she uses W after you WE and walk up to ult, you can't ult and she can damage and kill you as you walk off over her W. If you manage to get your ult off, she will W where you land, so you can't jump to W or R and you'll likely also die. By the time you walk off of her W, your shadows and jumps don't cover enough distance for you to get away. This particular combo is good for getting your damage out as quick as possible on an immobile target, but against Cassio I recommend to completely stay away from it. After you get Hydra, things become easier. Hold your teleport and clear waves without using W. Use your superior wave clear to either poke her if she uses Q to farm, or help your team. In the mid-game, avoid one-running Cassio and keep clearing side waves and walking into fog. She will complete Rod of Ages and other tanky items like Seraph, Zhonya's and Gargoyle. It's best to force her to side, and with your superior wave clear, either your team will come and kill her, or you will fight with your team and have move advantage. If you and your team try to kill her with numbers advantage on a side lane, be careful not to get hit by her ult, otherwise she might kill you all. Be sure to wait for CC from your teammate before using multiple Qs if possible. In teamfights, always focus and play around CC that can catch you out as you come out of ult or W2. For Cassio, it's mainly her W, and her R is usually telegraphed enough for you to react to it. Be very careful taking Ws as Cassios tend to use W on your W, so if you take it, you won't be able to ult or escape. Play fight slow and wait for your teammates CC. Keep using WEQ and running away, staying safe. Never taking your W unless you're confident that you won't get CC'd and taken down. Most games against Cassio, it's better to focus the enemy ADC support or jungle in teamfights because of Cassio's item build, which usually includes Rod of Ages, Seraphs, Rylai's, Gargoyles, and Zhonya's. All of these items give some form of tankiness, which makes her hard to kill quickly. However, even with these items, it's usually harder for Cassio to teamfight due to her limited mobility, so it's a waiting game for her to mess up and get caught, and that's when you capitalize. Use your mobility to dance around fights and play patient, staying alive to deal tons of damage. For items, always start longsword refillable since you have TP and you will be playing relatively safe outside of her E range. Then rush Hydra for superior wave clear without using W, which opens up more opportunities for you to trade favourably. Go Duskblade after to cover for your lack of damage to champions. Always buy Ionian boots at some stage between Hydra and your third item, not including boots. This game I went Serpent's third because of heavy shielding, for example Set W, Sterax, Ivan Shields, Cassio Seraphs, Milio, but usually you want to go Cleaver or Grudge. I say as a rule of thumb, if you're going to complete your third item at around 19 to 20 minutes or earlier, go Cleaver, otherwise go Grudge. This is because if you are fed, the damage from Grudge is overkill and the defensive utility stats from Cleaver is much more useful, even more so if you have a bounty. Regardless of whichever you buy first, building Grudge Cleaver or Cleaver Grudge successively works well in pretty much all games. As a last item, if the enemy champions have abilities that can CC you after you ult, for example Varus R, Nautilus Q, Rakan R, Edge of Night is very good. If they have a lot of shields, Serpents is very good. If you don't know what to buy last, buy Edge of Night since it's a good standard buy. There are other items like Axiom or Prowlers which you can go last or even earlier, but they aren't as important on Zed and the difference of buying them over Edge or Serpents is negligible. Think twice about selling boots. A lot of games, the movement speed outvalues the extra damage from the last item. This is because everyone's spells deal tons of damage at this stage of the game, so the value of movement speed increases with game time. However, if you're comfortable playing Zed, feel free to sell boots for Prowlers, Axiom, GA, Shojin, or anything really. It's my first time doing this kind of educational content, so let me know if you enjoyed it and would like to see more. I hope this video was helpful to you guys in some way. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.